I can no longer see you.
Well,
There we
we're all
go.
ears, so there's nothing to see, actually.
I am delighted to be with you today. I wished it were not virtual, but real. I have been spending my week working with the Congress, working with the American public, working with U.S. think tanks in support of Ukraine here in Washington. I hope you can feel the enormous bipartisan support for all that you are engaged in there to bring a more democratic, more prosperous, more stable, and more peaceful future for your country. I wanted to say first and foremost that we are enormously impressed with the energy, the commitment, the unity that individuals and politicians across the political spectrum have brought to this moment of intense transition, opportunity, and challenge for Ukraine. I want to start by congratulating the RADA on passing the public procurement law today. This is the kind of legislation that says to the Ukrainian people and says to the world that the days of a corrupt Ukraine that steals from its people are over. That one of the #1 requests of the Maidan, to live in a clean country where government serves the people and is of the people, rather than stealing from the people, is in their future. And it's just one of the many courageous steps that the transitional government, the RADA, and civil society have supported and taken over this incredible last 6-week period. And as hard as it is every day, there in Kyiv, there in Ukraine, you have to take pride and you have to pause and reflect in how far you have come. Piece of legislation after legislation supporting the kind of economic reform that will open the country to real investment, that will ensure that the budget of the nation serves the people rather than a corrupt few, that opens the system for the kind of transparency that people demand, and most importantly, that has opened the opportunity for Ukraine to benefit from IMF support at the level of $18 billion, which will stabilize the country and help give you your sovereignty back, your opportunity back to bring prosperity across the country. And then equally importantly, the steps you have taken to give your people true democratic choice in presidential elections on May 25th. More than 20 candidates in the race now, representing every color of the Ukrainian political spectrum. Now, what is important is to maintain the openness, the stability, the environment for a true competition and true choice for every Ukrainian voter to make their wishes for the future known. The best antidote to aggression, to pressure, to efforts to steal your sovereignty is for every Ukrainian to stand up and say, we will make our choice for the future. We will make it at the ballot box. We will make it by supporting our politicians who want real change, who want to live in a clean, democratic country that can live in prosperity with Europe and with Russia and with countries around the world at the same time. I hope you feel that the United States is 100% behind the efforts that you are making to resist pressure, to resist aggression, to make Ukraine a model of a peaceful, democratic, clean country. That is the best antidote to what is happening on your borders to the situation in Crimea, so that even Crimeans will question in a few years' time the choice that they made. So what is the United States doing to help? First, as you know, following the IMF agreement, we have had bipartisan support in the Congress to provide Ukraine with a $1 million loan guarantee to support the IMF program. This money will primarily go in consultation with the Ukrainian government to support implementation of the reforms that you are making, but primarily to cushion the blow, the increase in energy prices and those kinds of things, cushion the poor Ukrainians from the impact. We also are providing more than $170 million over the next year to support other programs of the Ukrainian government and people, including to help Ukraine reform its public procurement sector along the lines of the bill that passed today in the Rada, to ensure that every citizen knows how the government's money, how their tax money is spent, to reform the energy sector, to ensure that you have diversity of options, that you're no longer held by the neck by one supplier. We've talked in the US-Ukrainian conversation for more than 20 years that energy security is Ukraine's sovereignty, is Ukraine's independence. You've taken bold steps legislatively in the last couple of weeks to make that clear. Now they need to be implemented, and now the Ukrainian people need to understand that these measures, even if they come with some short-term economic pain, are the path to freedom, independence, and sovereignty for Ukraine, and we will support that. We're also supporting the important changes you're making in the agriculture sector to ensure that public procurement in agriculture and purchases are clean and transparent, and similarly in the implementation of this broad anti-corruption program that the government and the Rada are putting in place. We will, of course, provide generous support for free, fair elections and have an unprecedented number of American monitors present throughout Ukraine, both through the OSCE and through National Democratic Institute and International Republican Institute.